Hi everyone, this is Priscilla from My Grand Plan. Thanks for tuning in if you're tuning in. It's been a long time since I've posted a video. I sort of got off track last year, had some personal things happen, and changing my focus a little bit. Last year I was more focused on hauls and showing you what I've purchased, but I've focused more a little bit, I've changed my focus a little bit more on actually using what I have and purchasing less. And so you'll be seeing, I'll be trying to post more videos around what I'm using and some plan with me. So this is actually going to be a plan with me. And I hope you've all been doing well. Still, paying attention to what's going on in the planner community, of course, just through Instagram, but I haven't really done much with my own accounts or anything. So I'm hoping to do more of that because I really want to focus on using what I have and enjoying my hobbies more rather than just buying more things. So yeah, I've been on a bit of a budgeting journey the last, 4 months or so, and continuing into this year. So I wanted to show you first what I'm going to be planning with today. And it's this really a gorgeous kit from Panda Bird Design called Winter Joy. And I purchased this, I think, probably last year sometime. So I'm not sure if it's available in her shop or not. I am just wanting to start using these things and show you how I go about it. Now, I haven't planned in my planner, my memory planner, in quite some time. So this is going to be a little bit of an adventure for all of us. So I'll try and do my best with editing so that you're not spending as much time, watching me try to figure this all out. But I will, let you know what it is I'm using and all that sort of stuff. And what I might end up doing is actually splitting it into two separate videos so that it's not quite so long. But with that said, I'm going to go off camera now and get set up and start the plan with me. And Happy New Year to you all. Back in a minute. Okay, this is my very first voiceover, and you guys are going to see really quickly just how out of practice I am here. So we are using that Panda Bird Designs kit, and here I am trying to cut it, knowing that premium mat actually requires you to use an X-Acto knife. And also, I shouldn't even be cutting it because it was already pre-cut, and you'll see that I actually used the wrong side on this side of the paper, but we made it work. Here I am soon figuring out that I had done this wrong. But you'll see that I'm like, oh, okay, this is too short and there is nothing left. So I'm going to have to connect up the piece that was left over so that it's long enough for this side of the page. So I do end up doing it. And it doesn't look too bad, honestly. I mean, after having taken like about, I don't know, 8, 9 months off of planning in this planner, um, I thought I did pretty well given the circumstance. And so there you have it. There is a little bit of a line there, but it's not too bad. And I think next up we start doing, this is me looking for date dots, I think. So we're going to start this frame. And one of my goals with this was to use as much of the kit as possible, because I've always had these problems where I have all these extras in the kit because I start using other stuff outside the kit, and I really wanted it to, well, first of all, the theme for the year is use what you have, and I wanted to use as much of the kit as possible. So we're just laying down the date headers. And now I'm trying to choose what I'm going to use for that top left corner. And I chose the one with the mantle because I thought it would look cute up there with the actual month. And so I put this month down for January, and right away it's like super crooked. So luckily I was able to pull it up and straighten it out. And for this checklist, I decided to use it just for my workouts because I work out pretty much every day of the week, except for I usually skip one day when I do a longer walk with my dog. But it gets kind of repetitive to. So the workouts I do, I weight train and I do Peloton. And I've been doing Peloton for 3 years now. I'm over set 1,300 or 1,400 rides at this point. So yeah, I've been doing it a while. I started long before the pandemic. I know that a lot of people started during the pandemic. I started long before that. And the reason I did was because it was just so much cheaper than paying for SoulCycle or other in-person classes. It's more economical because my work pays for my subscription. And then here I didn't end up getting to writing down the workouts because then I realized I forgot to do the numbers on my date headers. And I got a little bit of dirt there from my tweezers, so I'm trying to clean it up there. And these numbers come from JK Creates, who sells on Etsy. The date, I should have said the month comes from, I believe that is Glitter Mama, also on Etsy. I used a divider there over on the heading right above where I put my workouts, and that divider is from Bloom Paper Studio. And I love that divider. I use a lot of those. Okay, so I have from Honeyinked all of Rachel's freebies, and this is from her winter freebie. And so I made it my goal to use just that freebie for these headers, and they don't all match. Well, first of all, I cut that one in half, so I'm trying to connect it up. I'm telling you, I am super out of practice here. So this is a little janky, but I wanted to do it anyway and just show you guys that even if it's not perfect, it could still look really cute. Just do your thing and use what you have. You don't always have to buy new things. I know that's like an unpopular thing to say, but I had a lot of satisfaction about shopping through my stash and finding things to use from my stash. And they didn't all match, but hey, silver's silver. That's the other thing about silver that's great. It doesn't vary too much from vendor to vendor, so you can utilize what you have. And I'm just going to town using all of the different snowflake elements that are on the Rachel Winter freebie. And this was a freebie from last year. I'm not sure if she had a new one this year. And that's Rachel from Gathered Plans, who's here on YouTube. I mean, look at that. That one's just totally different than the rest. And what I did was I took it and I cut it in half lengthwise so it would fit in that spot. It's not perfect, but not bad. I'm just really proud of the fact that I did this, having not had a lot of practice in a long time. That half snowflake is from that Gathered Plans from Rachel's freebie as well. And then this is from the kit. More snowflakes. And then more of those bow dividers from Bloom Paper Studio. So for that one, I put down a habit of following HB90. So I did the heart breathings, the HB90 method training for project planning around the end of December, and I created a Canva or a Kanban board and a bunch of project plans for the first quarter of the year. So I just I wanted to check off when I was able to get done what I had planned for the day. And truth be told, I haven't been the best about following along with it, but I will say that just the process itself really helped with my focus on what I wanted to actually accomplish this first 3 months. And I'm doing pretty well on actually getting moving on certain things that I've been procrastinating on for a really long time. Okay, so that box is from the kit, and that icon is from Crafts by Thaowie. And that Monday I was back to work after having been off for almost 2.5 weeks. My company gave us the 21st through January 3rd off, which was just awesome. I was able to do my HB90 stuff during that time. The HB90 is by Sarah Cannon. She's here on YouTube under Heart Breathings. Highly recommend it. It just was super great at getting me focused. So part of what I was doing with HB90 was planning out a budget YouTube channel that I started. which I've been able to get off the ground. And I have, I'm just doing it more for accountability for myself. And that note there is about having to refilm a video I did of myself cash stuffing. It's funny, like, how much I love watching people handle cash on YouTube. I know it's like super weird. It's like money porn, but I enjoy watching it. And it's been really helpful for me in my spending. I had a doctor's appointment that day. Actually, it wasn't an appointment, I had a blood draw. I had the appointment a couple months before, and I was getting the blood draw to have my cholesterol checked like right after the holidays. I was thinking that'll be the perfect time to just see just how horrible my cholesterol levels are. But they were actually pretty good, which means that on a normal day, they're probably even better because I had gone to town over the holidays food-wise. I returned some library books that day. I've been doing a lot of free reading the last year. That book icon is from, who is that from? That is from Jackson Pepper. And so is that little YouTube icon above with the heart. I think that's a YouTube icon with a heart. Maybe it's not. It looks like one. I'm going to say it's one. That's how I'm treating it. And that stethoscope is from Crafts by Thaowie. The branches were also on that winter sampler. And that divider is from JK Creates. I've been burning a lot of candles lately, which I hadn't been doing in a long time. I got a bunch on Candle Day at Bath and Body Works. And that night I made balsamic chicken, and I couldn't find my slow cooker icon, so I just used a fork and spoon from Crafts by Thaowie, but I think I find it like the next day. All these boughs are from and snowflakes are from that winter sampler from Honeyinked. Now we move on to Tuesday. That Tuesday I created a budget video. In my budget planner, I am using the Budget by Paycheck workbook by the Budget Mom. I like it. There are certain things about it I would change. I feel like I could create my own now that I know what I like doing. But I haven't been doing it long enough to really know. So we'll see. Is that same divider from JK Creates. I finished Cobra Kai season 4. I just love that show. I feel like the show gets the whole the balance of wokeness down without being cringy. Probably because it's like it sort of treats it almost over the top and in a funny way. Which I cannot say the same for Sex and the City. And I know people may have lots of opinions about that, but I had to stop watching that redo called And Just Like That. It just was too cringy for me. It was just too trying hard. Could not get on board with the trying hard aspect. It just didn't seem organic. It seemed very contrived, which I don't like. show was what it was. It wasn't a perfect show, but I also don't expect them to remake it and create a show that it was never intended to be. Oh, so that night I had steak and Brussels sprouts for dinner, and oh, it did not sit well with me. I felt really bad tummy wise. I don't know if I documented that, but I still remember it because I was like, I think detoxing from the holidays, and I'd had like a lot of protein and vegetables after the holidays because I'd eaten so much sugar and other just junk. Um, Awful. It was not good. That night I was started reading. I don't know if I started it, but I've been reading The Hate You Give, which is a really great book. I highly recommend that book. Talking about, and you know, a lot of you've probably read it. It's old. It's been out for a long time, and there's a movie. But I had never read it, and I really enjoyed it. I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to read through all of the books in my library here at home, so I could clear out my shelves. And what I do is I read 2 chapters, and if I'm not into it, the book goes. And so far, I've read 2 books and been totally into them in the first 2 chapters. Actually, no, now I'm in 3 books. So I haven't been able to get rid of anything, but I am reading my books, which is also the point, too. So, really, I think that's a really cool goal for this year, and I'm really pleased with myself for thinking of that because I do need more shelf space for planner stuff and everything else. Okay, so that day I did some goal setting for work for my boss. That's Wednesday. More of those Bloom Paper Studio dividers. All of these boxes are from the kit. And then I got into a group chat with my friends over text that night, and that took up a lot of time. It's funny how like I get into these texting conversations and they suck out a lot of like my evening time. I need to stop doing that. It wasn't like a bad thing. It's just that I don't feel like it doesn't it's nice to connect, but it's not the same as like hanging out in real life. You just feel like you've been on your screen again. It's more screen time and it's more tiring. And then that night for dinner we got takeout, Greek food takeout. These are more of the little accents from the Honeyinked sampler. And that was also from that sampler. Okay, so that's the first half of the week. And then here we are to the second half. And I remember doing this, I was watching football at the same time. And yep, see, I did find my slow cookers, and that is from Jackson Pepper. So that day I finished The Hate You Give, and I did not zoom in here, so I apologize that you can't see my writing. And I gave it 4 stars in my review. I just loved it that much. I don't typically give 5 stars. I mean, you'd have to be like, okay, we're zooming in now. I've never given a 5-star review. There's always something that I feel a book is missing. Maybe Harry Potter got 5 stars. How typical. Okay, so I'm doing this new method here where I'm putting in the events and then I decorate after. So I could space this out a little better. So that night I made cabbage sauteed with bacon and rice. And that seems like the most plain thing ever, but it's so good. Literally three ingredients: cabbage, bacon, onions, rice, and some garlic. 4 ingredients. Oh, I had a meeting with my boss that morning, and he's like, "Can you rewrite your goals? I need you to rewrite these a little bit differently." So I rewrote them. We need to do it for our calibration, which is like our reviews. And then, yeah, anniversary of the insurrection at the Capitol. Super fun day last year, let me tell you. We're adding in some dividers here. I'm sorry you can't see that. I was in mega concentration mode. You'll see it when I pull out at the end. Thinking. Here we go. Let's start using some of these half scallops. You've left them long enough. So I'm editing and uploading a cache video that Friday morning. By the way, this is the very first voiceover I've ever done, so bear with me as I get used to this. I love that house. It's just so cute. Makes me want to live in it. Here we are, trying to use what we got. So I had kind of a chill day that day, and I put in that I did a self care bath. That's what that is. And then we didn't have leftovers that day. We actually recooked the exact same thing because I had leftover cabbage. You know how cabbages the whole head is like two different meals. So I did end up making it again just because I wanted to use the cabbage and it was so good and had tons of bacon left too. So I did some contract drafting that morning at work. For those of you that don't know, I am an attorney and I work in tech, negotiating enterprise agreements. And then I'm just kind of putting some fill-in deco from the kit. I put a little laptop there. So I started a new book called One of Us is Lying. It's been around a while. Don't spoil it for me if you've read it. I'm about over halfway through it at this point. But essentially, it's about these five kids in detention. One of them ends up dying from like a peanut allergy reaction to getting exposed to peanut allergy, and the other four kids have stuff to hide, and it's all about like who killed the guy. And that's me filming my plan with me. And I did some laundry. Another thing I'm doing habit wise is doing a load of laundry every week instead of doing all my laundry like once a month. It was just out of control. Did some office organization. I have two offices. Well, three if you count the one that's at my work, my actual office. I have my upstairs office, which is the one I do my work in because we work from home most of the time. And then I have my downstairs office where I keep all of my craft and coloring and art and planning stuff. But in the end, I just end up doing a lot of work upstairs in my regular office, which I shouldn't do. But that's because the lighting is better there, and that's where I do my recording. Okay, so this night, my husband and I made cassoulet, which is this French dish. We ordered it kit from D'Artagnan. So it's very authentic, and I think I ate it for like 4 days in a row just because it was so much food and we wanted to take advantage of it. And then that night we had family game night with my nephews and my brother and sister-in-law, and we called them on Zoom, and we have a computer application where you can play board games and stuff remotely. But it's not games like you're playing computer games, like you're actually playing the board game, but on the computer. So you roll the dice, the mechanics are all the same as if you were in person, it's just done on the computer. So it doesn't have any logic. You actually have to count out and move the pieces around and all that stuff. And for those that don't know, cassoulet is a dish made with duck confit and beans, and it's slow cooked for a long period of time with two different kinds of French sausage. Really good, but really heavy. And also, you don't need much to be full. This is not the best decorating job, honestly. You see a lot of repeat dividers and stuff, and there's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. Again, this is me just getting back into it and using some things I had on hand. I'm playing with my stuff. All these little tiny snowflake accents are from the gathered plan sampler, winter sampler. And then also those little tiny bows are from the Giving Girl. So I took my dog Danny for a walk at the marina. Did we go to the marina? Yes, we went to the marina, took him for a walk, and then to Starbucks for coffee. When I say the marina, I mean the Berkeley Marina, which was famous because that was where Scott Peterson supposedly went when his wife disappeared, and then her body like washed up like on the shoreline around there. Morbid. And those icons are from Crafts by Thaowie. I gave myself a manicure. I changed my mind about that. That is so crooked. You could tell I'm getting kind of tired at this point. I love those polish bottles from Crafts by Thaowie. So, big game that day was Chargers versus Raiders, and I happened to be a Chargers fan, and we were heartbroken that day. Those footballs are from Honeyinked. I think they're from Honeyinked. Those accents definitely are. Snowflake. And then, of course, a planning session. Sunday's when I usually plan. And that icon is from Crossed by Thaowie. All right, this is it. And those inserts are by Caress Press. And they might actually have been from last year. But thank you guys so much for watching.